And now, the Big D and Bubba Weekly Podcast.
Big D and Bubba, they have a show 5 days a week, but they don't get to say everything that's on their mind. So they have an extra one, and that's how we get the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast, the podcast. Big D and Bubba podcast.
Getting closer. Episode
489, 489.
11 more. 11 more, and
to
then we hit 500. That's crazy.
And that's rare, too, man.
Most podcasts worldwide, most podcasts never get past 10 episodes.
Yep.
489. That's great.
Listen, everyone who's listening is like, I wish y'all could have just stopped it, too. Y'all just kept kicking this horse. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, he did, and
are.
kept going.
Still kicking.
I do want to show or share this from the Emmys takeaway the other night.
Jelly roll.
That's our goal this week. They were doing the in memoriam, and it just sounded so great to have this. I don't know. I think she was AI. I really do. The most boring voice ever. And now to memorize and memorialize those that we have lost this year.
Jelly roll.
Carson, why don't you do that? You could have done that.
I mean,
Did you hear her? Was she AI or was that?
no, that's a legit person. I think I follow her on Instagram.
Do you follow a bunch of voiceover people?
I try to, yeah.
Who's your favorite?
I mean, no disrespect then to the real person.
I don't know that I really have a favorite. I think I try to listen to people and see how they do things differently than maybe I would have interpreted something. But I'm kind of a one-trick pony.
Well, no,
I
you're
sound
not.
like this.
You do
and
books
this is it.
though.
Yeah, but they're all pretty straightforward.
Oh, you're not
books.
doing novels. You're doing like.
No, I haven't done.
You don't
any.
do acting? You don't do voices?
I can do some acting, but I'm not great at voices. I'm not great at accents. I'm sure if I worked at it, I could be, but
I think the best voiceover person, a guy anyway, is,
George Guidall.
who's that? I don't know that
That's the
one.
guy who did the Mitch Rapp books, I think. I think that's his name.
No, he's good. He is good. No, it's the guy who did the Carson. It's a crime. It's a crime series.
Oh, the guy who would talk.
yeah.
City Confidential.
No.
Paul Winfield.
Paul Winfield. Yeah,
Field.
he was awesome.
He was my okay. When you asked if I had a favorite, that guy was my favorite.
Yeah,
City
he's my
Confidential.
Nope,
oh my-
not him. No,
Oh,
no.
okay.
I'm going to go while you guys are looking for that. I'm going to look up George. I have some George Guidall talking.
In that framework, I tried to bring an immediacy.
Dude, this guy
to the
could read
listener.
anything,
And that's a very important
and I would
point
go to sleep
because
so well.
in bringing an immediacy to one who is listening.
It's great because
And
he acts and does all the different accents and male and
Yeah.
female and all that, and you're just like, how does one person get you lost?
Do all of that. I don't, because also when it comes to women, it's a little bit different because there's so many different types of. I mean, men have it too, but there's the amount of auditions I see. We're looking for a Scarlett Johansson type. Shut up.
The girl
Shut
who
up.
did, there was a lady who did the Hunger Games books. That was really good.
Yeah.
And I think it was the same one who did the Twilight books as well. That's right. I read all
Listen
of
to.
those with my ears.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't listen to a ton of novels. I listen to more true crime audiobooks or more the author reading their own kind of autobiographical stuff. I don't.
I like that sometimes, but a
Yeah.
lot of times the author is a terrible reader.
Yeah.
There's one guy, a Navy SEAL guy, that wrote a book about being a good dad or something like that. And the guy, I saw him in an interview, and he was really a good speaker, very, very clear and whatever. The guy that read his book, however, was all over the top like that. And it was really hard to read. And it was this and that. And I'm going, man, you're trying to sound way tougher
Yeah.
than you need to. Because the guy, like I said, the actual author was a very good speaker.
Yeah, they
and
should have
didn't
just
talk
got him.
like that.
Yeah, I just got turned down for an audiobook that I
Congrats.
auditioned for. Thank you. I was in the top 2, but obviously I was second. But they told me that the person they went with sounded more like the author they felt, and they thought it would be easier for a promotional standpoint. And while they really did like my voice, they liked my take on it, but this person just sounded more like her. And I go, and that's what's actually good about voiceovers is there's been a few times where I've seen commercials that I've auditioned for and somebody else got them. And I said, oh yeah, okay, I can see why they went with them. So it's okay that it's because it's so subjective.
Yeah.
And there are times that I've landed jobs and I'm like, y'all picked me?
Raising Men, by the way, is the name of the book. It's From Fathers to Sons, Life Lessons from Navy SEAL Training. Eric Davis is the guy who wrote it. And I'm telling you, it's really, really good. If you're a dude dad and you have a son that you're raising, it's really good. I mean, you may or may not learn anything, but the point is it's nice to hear some reminders.
I do watch those award shows, though, and occasionally I will, if I'm by myself, I will start emulating what I hear just to see if I could do that. You know,
I
like
thought you meant there's award shows for narration.
there are VO awards. I certainly am not
What?
in that realm, but
Yeah.
there's awards for a friend of mine. Her commercial. Do you know there's commercial Emmys? People get Emmys for commercials. A friend of mine was nominated. She's a VO actress, and she's spectacular. And she got nominated. Her commercial was nominated for an Emmy, so she's Emmy nominated.
Wow.
I know, right? Like super fancy. I'm like, look at you. I mean, we are too, though. We're Emmy nominated because Music's Greatest Mysteries was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, don't think that's not on my bio.
Wow.
You have Emmy nominated.
Sure.
You might as well.
Wow.
You might as well. Look, I mean,
Okay.
It's all a game, right? It's all spin. When
It's
you're
all spin.
somebody was like, "Hey, would you speak on a panel?" Sure. Can you give us a bio? Absolutely. ACM winner and CMA nominee Carson, part of the Emmy nominated series. Like, I mean, it's all right. Like, no, this is a girl who sits in her house on the weekend and looks up prices of vintage T-shirts on eBay.
That's the beauty of the complexity. I wish I could think of that guy's name. I want to say his first name is Paul, and he has that real easygoing voice
I know
style.
who you're talking. It's like
And he did Crime. It was a crime show that I thought it was on CNBC, but maybe not. It was out. It's older.
I still think
He's
you're
passed
thinking
away.
of Paul Winfield.
Paul, is that who I am?
Yeah, I think that's who
I
you're
do.
thinking
Yeah,
of.
City Confidential. I feel is
the
like what
voice
you're
that we
talking
always
about.
make fun of. We always talk about the guy who kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
And Martha thought she was alone that night.
I don't
She was
know.
not
no,
alone.
Paul is just so, it's like, I mean, voiceover, yes, but he also was such really engaging in storytelling. And
See, the
that's
one I
why-
have, it's this black actor guy.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's not. He's
That's not him. Okay.
No, he's this
maybe
older white
maybe it's
guy.
not Paul. Maybe it's somebody else did City
While you're
Confidential.
looking up that, Ray Porter is the guy that also I like.
In order to fulfill that obligation lawfully, this
I
manuscript
know this doesn't
was
sound like
submitted
much,
to the DoD Office of
but he does
Pre-Publication
all the characters,
Security
and you
Review,
know exactly
and
who's
was
talking. You
cleared
don't
as
even need to
Yeah.
know what character he's portraying because he's able to read the book so
Paul
well.
Winfield is definitely who I'm thinking of. There was a Keith David.
Yeah,
on
Keith
City
David.
Confidential.
Yeah, and Keith David's great.
Yeah, he only did 1 year, and then Mike Coulter because I guess they revived City Confidential. Okay, I don't know. I liked the old episodes though.
So, Bubba, this is the Paul Winfield.
Yeah, okay. You're sending it to
Yeah,
me?
I got to you.
Okay.
Um,
Is this him?
this is not him, no. But this is who you guys were talking about.
This is not him.
No, you'll hear it. But it's
Archer City, Texas.
Yeah.
One of the classic American
Yeah,
small
that's not the guy.
towns.
Oh, I love this guy. Though.
Archer City was a setting for the last picture show.
Is he drunk?
The book and movie.
He's got a little slur
That's
on
one of
Small
the-
town.
He's a little
That
like
is
us.
that is the
Archer
second
City.
most Googled thing on City Confidential.
What
I was like,
is-
City Confidential narrator, City Confidential narrator drunk.
It does kind of sound like
Archer
it.
City, Texas. One of the classic American small towns.
You listen to that
Archer
first line,
City
you're like,
was a setting
shoes
for
about
the
to
last
drop.
picture
I know
show.
he's gonna hit me with a twist. I know he is.
It sounds like
I love him.
what was the guy who used to the old voiceover guy?
Mark Driscoll.
Mark Driscoll would send you stuff. So Mark Driscoll, classic radio, avant-garde voiceover
stand by
guy.
you.
He was crazy,
I
man.
got you. I got
he
you.
would send stuff. So we would get these reel to reels, and like so he'll read a thing up. Big D and Bubba. Blah, 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 blah. And then he would just start going on these rambling rants. Well, one time Big D and Bubba, and he would start telling stories. One time Big D and Bubba were in a field surrounded by corn.
You know why, though, right?
And he would, why?
Because he was.
Oh, yeah, he was plastered.
Oh, he was coked
He was
out.
always plastered. So he would do these
The best artist,
elaborate
man.
Coke stories. And so we would turn those, we would take these dumb little stories and produce them.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd hear,
love it.
Big D and Bubba were being chased by dwarfs, and the troll man came up. He would do
I
all
just
these
sent it to
weird.
you.
Oh, you got one?
Yes, I sent you Mark's. It's a tribute. Mark Driscoll, the voice, Mr. Voice.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was-
Mark Driscoll has actually sent me auditions before.
Is no test. This is the real thing.
Yeah, he runs some sort of company, and he had emailed me, I think 2 or 3 times, and said, "Hey, I think you'd be good for this. Can you send me an audition?" And I never got it, but it's fine. But thank you for thinking of me, Mark Driscoll.
Yeah, he's passed away now, but he's.
Oh, okay. Then it's somebody with his company, I guess.
There is
so.
another Mark Driscoll.
Okay.
Is there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's
Then
not.
maybe it's a different.
I don't know. Anyway.
Is it another voiceover person?
Yeah, I think they do. Yeah.
Radio Rehab. I'm Mark Driscoll. I like that company so much, I bought it.
It's the best.
When I did college radio, a dude I did a show with, his fraternity brother was this guy, Chris, and we're all still really good friends, but Chris is like, "Oh, yeah, so you're in your radio. I mean, you would know who my father is. My father is Mitch Craig." And I'm like,
Oh, come on.
and I don't, I'm like, I'm in college. I know who Mitch Craig is. And then
You
he's
did
like-
or didn't?
I didn't, because I was like, why would I know that? I do college radio. And yeah, Chris Craig and I are still very, like, we texted 3 days ago. But yeah, he had his dad produce an intro for my 80s hair metal show. And the problem is somebody came to me and they're like, you know, the problem is that everything else on the radio sounds like college, and then you got Mitch Craig to do your intro.
Yeah, Mitch Craig's so good.
Yes. So good.
I
Well-
have some Mitch right here.
Oh, okay.
Central New York's only hit music station. WRCK, Utica, Rome, Rock 107.
Could you get your friend to maybe take Mitch Craig's voice and load it up to AI so we can have new Mitch Craig stuff out in the world?
I think he's still
would be-
alive.
Mitch?
Yeah.
Oh, no, Mitch passed away, I thought.
I'm not going to text Craig.
Oh, my
I'm not
gosh.
going to. Chris and I talk about
he's
like
based in
80s.
Memphis, right?
Yeah.
I thought Mitch Craig, I thought he
Yeah.
passed away. So he's still alive? I didn't know this.
I'm not going to text Chris because that feels
Yeah,
real
no, yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
But
Hey, is your dad?
I'll be like, hey, in between our Striper conversations, by the way, is your dad dead? Like, that
I
sounds
will say
awful.
that I went to MitchCraig.com and it says this site can't be reached.
Oh.
Yeah, perhaps.
Bubba, I
I'm
sent
gonna
you
shut up.
one of my favorite sports guy VO artists.
Okay.
That you've probably heard and just had no idea who this guy is. His name is David Lee.
David Lee. All right, go on to it. And who is he?
He is the voice of Westwood One Sports.
Okay.
The wait is over.
I know him. I know him.
Yeah.
America's favorite sport returns. Your customers want it.
To the right. Throw.
Westwood One has it.
That's so great, man.
What is that like to have that kind of voice? He used to do I would listen to him do motocross. I think he's one,
Yep.
is he the one who did it for
Yes.
years?
Mhm.
And he would be really it was like overdone.
We'll sell you the whole. That's the we'll sell you the whole seat guy.
Nah, he may have used that line at some point, but boy, I really wish I could find that guy that I'm thinking of. Paul, maybe it's not Paul. He did a crime, narrated a crime series, and it wasn't City Confidential.
Okay.
It's not him, but he did
Heartland Homicide? Murder in the Heartland?
murder.
Southern.
Was it Peter Coyote?
Peter. No, it's Peter something. Peter. Is it Peter?
I want to
don't
say
think-
Peter Coyote was the guy.
Yeah, Peter Coyote's done a lot of the Ken Burns stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, see if this is him.
Come on.
He had as much psychedelics as.
No, that's not.
Yeah, you know who I'm talking about, Bobby. You'll know, but it's Peter.
It's not Peter Coyote. It's Pete. Yeah, you're right.
It's a.
And that guy passed away. The one
He
you're
did.
thinking of.
Yeah.
It's
Peter
going-
Thomas.
That's it. Yes. All right.
All right. Thank you. I think this is the best for now. Different voices for different situations, of course. I think he is the best.
He was the guy who did the Forensic Files.
Forensic Files.
Okay,
That's
Yeah.
it.
Here we go. Hold on.
Hi, this is Peter Thomas here from Forensic Files, and you're listening to my good friend Devin Stanley on WNVA Radio.
Devin Stanley, whoever you are, you're a legend in my mind.
Yeah. His voice was. It's not the big deep thing. It's very
unique.
Mitch Craig is indeed alive.
Oh, thank
I
goodness.
texted Chris and I said, "Hey, we're talking about your dad and listening to his old tapes." He goes, "I'll have to tell him. He'd appreciate it." I have confirmed.
Finesse that one.
Thank you, Jesus, for allowing Mitch Craig to
Yeah.
still be on this earth.
And
He
Bubba,
is
I
a
sent
legend.
you another one of a gentleman named Earl Mann, who's actually based
Okay,
out
hold
of
on, wait.
Toronto.
I do have some Peter Thomas I want to share. Like
it's
him
produced?
actually, yes.
If you're not careful and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the back rooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow,
This
the
guy.
endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum humbuzz.
I'm sure, and
Humbuzz.
he
What a
has
good
passed
word.
away. Correct. I don't want to. I don't want
he
to call his family members, but I'm like that guy. Oh,
Mitch
my
Craig.
gosh.
Mitch Craig used to be the voice of KDF in Nashville when it was rock for a long time.
Mitch Craig was the voice of Q93 when I was a little kid.
Q93 and
Q93 is an
New
urban
Orleans?
station in New Orleans, and man,
yeah, man.
nothing but jams.
Yeah, I remember I was working at a radio station a while back, and they had me filling in at the front desk, and I had to go through invoices, and I got a Mitch Craig invoice, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know him, but I know his Spawn." So
Did you say it in that voice when you opened it?
I mean, that's my internal.
Your inner dialogue.
Yeah.
Which one of you sent me this Earl Mann
I
thing?
did, yeah.
Okay, let's
It's got the flag. Start about 10 seconds in.
all right. Well, I'm a little
Yeah.
past that.
I am your flag.
Oh yes,
I've been kicked, trampled, burned, and shot full of holes.
that's the guy from Idiocracy.
Idiocracy.
That's the guy.
Also,
from,
David Letterman, NFL, Campbell's Soup.
Oh, is he the one who goes, it was a cold day and...
Well, John Facenda was the one that did that in NFL films way back in the day, and then Earl replaced John after John passed away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
John Facenda, you said?
John
Dude,
Facenda.
Look for John Facenda. I'm going to listen to more of this guy. He's the guy who narrates
The
Idiocracy.
frozen tundra of Lambeau
There's a John Facenda
Field.
AI voice.
I am your flag. I've been kicked, trampled, burned, and shot full of holes. I have fought battles, but I prefer the untroubled air.
President Camacho.
I am your...
Yeah, that's Earl Mann. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great. I don't think I've ever known his name. So that's cool. And I've often
His real
wondered
name's
who
actually
is-
Earl Zimmerman. Earl Mann is his,
Oh, really?
yeah, his VO name.
This is John Facenda.
The Raiders now had a choice of two plans. They could sense and parry to protect their lead, or they could attack to destroy and demolish.
So they attacked.
The San Diego Chargers. While their offense flew on the wings of Mercury, their defensive line
You know, I mean,
struck-
we'll never have voices
We
like
could
that
be
again.
talking about the Battle of Waterloo, but no, this is a football game.
But no, it's just we're never going to experience voices like we did in the past because of one simple thing: cigarettes. Everybody back in the day smoked. So by the time they were an adult,
Yeah.
they all had these growly, gravelly, wonderfully
So
beautiful
many
voices.
people I went to college with smoked in our degrees.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to be on TV, they wanted to be on the radio, and they made themselves smoke
Yeah.
to get deeper.
All the great voices, I would say almost all the great voices were smoker voices. And that's because the smoke would damage
Well, also
their
because
vocal cords. And
every other audition is like smoky, raspy, and I'm like, just say you want Kathleen Turner.
Yeah.
Just say it.
what'd you find, D?
Oh, you kidding? The best.
The best.
The best.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, dude, we have Mitch Craig and confirmation that he's still alive.
Yeah, good job, Carson.
All right, there you go.
Finesse
All right.
that so well.
There's the best.
Ernie?
I just sent you the best.
Is it Ernie?
Yeah.
Saturday on the Love Boat.
What? Man.
Oh, you know who else was great though in a different, not low gravelly? It was the dude that did Behind the Music.
Okay, we'll
Remember
find
the
him.
show?
more of
Yeah.
a higher end voice, but really
But he
good.
was
If somebody can
really
find
good.
him, we'll do that. But
Yeah.
I want to talk about Ernie for a sec. Does anybody know who the guy behind the music was?
Okay.
This Ernie Anderson, the one Big D just sent over, he was the voice of ABC back in the day, and he did all this stuff. But if I'm not mistaken, before AI, when he passed away, they had so much tape of him talking that for a little while they were selling parts. So like you could say, okay, we're 103 The Corn. And then what they would do is they had a database of all these things, and they would go and find him saying 103 The Corn. And they would put it all together, and they would chop it up with sound effects and everything. 103 The Corn. And it would be this guy's voice. And it was amazing. I'm glad we got that.
Saturday on the Love Boat.
The Love Boat. I tried to make it a little more lecherous than romantic,
Listen to that guy.
Recognize the face?
Listen to that guy. Oh, my
You
gosh,
can
man.
only get that first thing in the morning, really late at night, or like you have to be a little hungover for that growl in your throat. Like for someone like me, with him, I was like, oh, congratulations on your talent or whatever you were born with.
Congrats on your smoker's
Yeah.
voice.
So the gentleman's name is Jim Forbes, who is the voice of Behind the Music, and I'm going to send you a clip right here you can play from.
Also, these guys were making bang.
Bang.
Oh, yes.
Also, where were the chicks, man? All we're doing is bringing up dudes. That's the thing. Like, where are the chicks?
Jim Forbes also did. Oh, wait, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce KC and the
Okay, let's see the. I don't want to play too much of that.
Harry Wayne Casey blasted onto the American airwaves in the fall of 1975 with
I
a
don't
sexy...
remember this guy talking like that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every episode of Behind the Music.
I always thought the Behind the Music guy had a deeper,
No.
bigger,
No, that was
smokery
the thing.
voice.
That's what made him stand out to me. was that
Invitation
he-
to...
Oh, that's him right there talking?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Yeah,
like-
that was actually the clip from Behind the Music.
to the American airwaves in the fall of 1975 with a sexy invitation to just let go.
Look up How It's Made guy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So he stumbled into it. He didn't even do voiceovers. He was he was working on it for doing something in like video stuff, and they needed someone to do like a little stand-in, like a this is what it'll sound like in a demo.
Brooks Moore is his name,
and the producer was like, "Who is this guy? I really like him."
And he was just the stand-in.
He was just a stand-in, and
let's go to.
I had done voice work, started announcing horse shows, was on radio a little bit. And,
everything I just said is wrong.
announced and did different
Well, the lore.
But
the
I
lore
really
was great.
Wow.
He might have been a scratch track, though, is what they call it, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
maybe that's what it was.
Let's see.
That he wasn't intended to be the voice.
Let's see if I can find some of the How It's Made.
Are undersized splints. The splints now reach the match dipping line, where the perforated steel match bar runs down an endless chain.
Maybe the best show on television, by the way.
It's so interesting because he almost has a little flaw.
He's got like a lisp. He's
a
got like
lispish. Yeah, there's something in there, and but it makes it
Unique.
It makes it better.
Yeah, it makes it him.
Yeah.
Makes it human.
A worker pours gelatin capsules over potassium chlorate. Gelatin serves as a binder for the match head compound. The worker adds hot water before he...
That is a great show.
I mean, it really, I could watch it. It's How It's Made is so great because, they always do 3 different things, and you're going to like one of them. So you sit through the ones that you don't really like the most just to get to the part where they, make, Ferraris or whatever it might be.
So I've got a voice for you that maybe not one of the best voices, but one of the most distinctive. I sent it to you on DM, and as soon as you see it, you'll know what it is.
I am, by the way, to everyone who is listening to this podcast, you have no idea how much we enjoy.
This is our geeks.
This is our nerddom.
This is us completely nerding out.
Hi, Tom Bodette from
Oh,
Motel
yeah.
6. Sadly, some mushrooms spend their whole lives alone in the dark shedding spores. They never see the light. People, on the other hand, can see the light just by going to Motel 6. Don't be a spore-shedding fungus. See the light and save some
Who
bucks.
is Tom Bodette? Like, wasn't he like just some like
Mitch
dude?
Craig wants to listen to my stuff. I just got asked if I would send some
kidding?
links.
Are you kidding?
God.
Look at you,
Okay.
big timer.
This makes this all worth it.
Man, are you kidding
Never mind me,
me?
just side hustling over here.
What?
So is
No.
Mitch's son married?
Yes, he's married,
Oh.
and they just had a baby. It's
Oh.
adorable.
Hey, what's the guy who did Power Pig?
Brian James? Was that
Brian
Brian?
James. And also, who's the guy who did MTV? I feel like I'm trying to talk deeper.
I know, right? Like suddenly I'm on display.
I know.
Who did MTV?
The guy who did
I don't know.
Brian James, though. He
Brian James,
also passed away.
yeah, he passed away too.
KHQ, Northern Michigan's hit music station, wanted to send you to the Super Bowl. So we got online, booked a hotel in the Motor City, oops, and waited for the Lions to win. Double oops. But our
He's so good.
Brian was great. He did a lot of stuff for us back in the day too.
Yeah,
I
did you
mean,
guys know Malcolm? Did you ever work with Malcolm at
Is-
your old joint?
No.
I hired him out of his company to do stuff for me at my old station. Just big, booming, great voice. And he'd be like, I'd send him things like, I need you to do, we have something with Shaman's Harvest. And he'd be like, Shaman's Harvest, Shaman's Harvest, Shaman's Harvest. Like,
Do the
because he
tones.
just didn't know where to his credit, he'd be
Right.
like, I don't know where the inflection is supposed to be. Instead of you sending it back, he would give you like 80 takes. It was fantastic. And really good, deep voice. And that was one you're like, you were born with this. Congratulations.
Here's one, Bo. I'm sending it to you. Gosh,
We're so geeky.
So nerdy.
This is Don LaFontaine.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
Not an actor. So to help tell her story, we hired that announcer guy from the movies.
When the storm hit, both our cars were totally underwater.
in a world where both of our cars were totally underwater.
You may not have seen him until this guy...
Didn't he pass away?
Yes. So when I was interning at Dateline, they did a feature story on him. And the whole thing was him getting limo service to every voice gig he did. And he would walk in, he did one read, and he did 30 seconds because he was that good. He was that much of a pro. He'd get back in the limo, and it just felt like, are there supposed to be women in there? I don't know. He was just living this ultimate Hollywood lifestyle and just doing, by that, his voice.
Wow. Man, we were not blessed. Like, I mean, I'm just listening to myself talk right now, and I'm like, I'm kind of sad.
You know, let's be honest, though. You're comparing to the best in the world at what they do.
Yeah.
Because, seriously, everybody on this broadcast, aside from Garrett, has a good voice.
Garrett has a good
voice.
voice.
Garrett has a great voice.
I love you, Garrett. You don't have a good voice.
He does have it's a voice.
He has a voice.
No, it's good.
I have a voice not for radio.
No, your
No, see, the
personality, though,
thing
that's
is,
the thing.
yeah, I mean,
because even the world of
You definitely have a
voiceover now-
generational voice, I'll say
Voiceover
that.
now is all about personality. It's not about, I mean, they still sometimes want a bigger, booming voice, but for the most part, they are looking for, they want something that stands out. And because if everybody has the big, booming voice, it all just becomes the same noise. So somebody like you actually could.
It
do
is
well.
something that I didn't plan for when I started this job is speaking on the air. And once I started hearing my voice through the microphone, through my headphones, it's a weird experience.
well,
it's not me.
It's the worst.
It is very weird when you hear your voice because you're just not used to it. You don't hear yourself. That's why we wear, part of the reason why we wear headphones is so we can hear what things actually sound like.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when you're not used to it, it's a little strange.
Also, we all had to get over it. That, for me, it was in college when I started in college radio. I mean, Dee's doing it since he was like 14 or 15. And those first couple months when you listen back to yourself, it's
so
cringy. You're
bad.
like, it's even when people are like, wow, you sound good. Nobody likes to hear themselves.
It's also bizarre because I have a twin brother and we have the exact same
Yes.
voice. So I'm used to hearing kind of my own voice back to me in real life, but it's just through headphones and through a microphone. It's just different.
Yeah, it is different. Bumper Morgan's another one.
Oh yeah, Bumper.
Bumper was great. Bumper also passed away. I guess people die.
Well, the weird thing is you and I, I'm not going to say where we were because, but like 3 voiceover guys in a row It was like I was like, I don't want to. Don't suggest any friends to take that job.
I recall that.
It was like boom, boom,
Wow.
boom. The third one did it. I'm like, they were like, who do you suggest we get now? I'm
Nobody.
Like, nobody. No one.
Well, I can think of this one guy. You probably
listening. Here's Janet Jackson.
That's him.
All right, so
doing-
Bumper would do. So he was the voiceover of a bunch of radio stations in America, but Y107 in Nashville.
Oh, I've already moved off of that. I was like just looking. So go on.
And but he would do an air shift on the weekends. He'd come in on Saturdays or Sundays and do a shift, and you would listen to. You're like, oh my God, this is the guy.
Yeah.
It's weird because you're like he's talking to a caller, and it sounds like Oh, that's another one. Transformer guy.
Yeah, Peter Cullen. I looked him up. Yeah.
Oh,
Peter Cullen.
We'll go to him in a moment. I want to hear a little Bumper.
Sunny and windy today, high 52. Right now it's 49 with Toby Gray.
So breathy.
Cape Cod's 101.1, 93.5, The Wave. Coming up in a couple minutes for you, Righteous Brothers, ABBA,
works on the Wave.
Temps.
Oh, really?
This
My
is
old boss.
Robert Plant.
His produced stuff was so over the top and deep and big and bigger than life.
In the dark recesses of the earth, he is alive. But now, driven by primitive compulsions, he awakens from his earthly grave and crawls.
Didn't he? I don't know about the rumor or not, but didn't he pitch down? Because he used to have these. He would pitch down slightly. He would read everything fast and then pitch it down.
That's a good. I don't know.
Smart.
Yeah, so he would go, and then he would slow down, and it sounded like he was just talking. I don't know if he really did or not.
I would believe that. I went to his house. I went to his house one time.
What?
Yeah, he was like, "You want to go play?" I called him one time. I was in Cookeville, working on doing a radio shift, and he was doing a shift on Y107 in Nashville, and I called the request line. Not even joking, and he answers Y107. Like, hey, I'm Derek. I do this radio thing. He goes, well, come on up. You come on over. We'll go play. Not squash, but racquetball. I'm like, I really don't want to play racquetball, but I would like to meet you. And so I met him, and it was cool, really cool.
I used to do that on my radio station that I was on when I was like 22, and I would get off work at midnight after just doing Pillow Talk, because I was on like
You
the
did
local.
Pillow Talk?
I was Pillow Talk before Delilah, and here I am, 22. Like, hey, it's Pillow Talk. And I would call the rock radio station on my way home to make a request, and he was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I just got off work. Where'd you work at?" I'm like, "The other radio station." He's like, "Are you allowed to talk to me?" And I go, "I don't see why not. Like, they're all asleep because they're all old. That's why they made me do Pillow Talk." And so when I finally, I went to some show and I met the guy and I was like, "Yeah, I'm the girl that does Pillow Talk." He's like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "It's the craziest thing." He goes, "I tell everybody that story of you're this girl." But yeah, I just played Dan Fogelberg and you play Rat.
Trying to get to. Oh, come on! I thought it was going to be a little clip of Peter Cullen. They have all the ones where it's all the fake stuff.
Witness their capacity for courage. And though we are worlds apart, like us, there's more to them than meets the eye.
As Optimus.
I am Optimus Prime, and I send this message.
You know, it's a great, and it's the Optimus Prime voice is perfect. Not only because it's from my childhood, because he was the guy, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't he the voice of Optimus back in the day? Yeah.
Yes, he was.
So he's so perfect. But I mean, whenever you're watching the movies, it's this disembodied voice, and you're like, there's no way that's human.
Yeah, right.
And even though he's still giant voice guy.
Taking refuge among the stars. We are here. We are waiting.
I'm humbled.
I mean, God.
I feel like it'd be so awkward too if I'm ever asked to go lower. That I'm not sure. I don't know that I have it in me
At this time
to
of day, I
technically.
couldn't.
Well, also to act, to be like, yeah, because I'm not an actress.
Well, aren't you supposed to kind of do this? and
Yeah, I try
You're
to-
supposed to hunch a little bit and get squishy or something.
Yeah, and sometimes if I try to do different inflections or voices, I'll scrunch my lips in different ways, or I'll leave my mouth hanging open. Like I won't 100% close to try to get into whatever age range they're looking for, or whatever the idea of the project is, but those guys, I go, you're sitting in a room like, I'm Optimus Prime, and I'm like, how do you not just start laughing out loud at yourself, right? Because I'm not, but it's like an actor, like because I'm not an actor.
I always wanted to do cartoons. Like I
Yeah.
always thought that would have been great to do voiceovers. But the problem is, we worked with a guy who did, and it was obnoxious.
Yeah,
and it was like the biggest turnoff. I'm like, man. There goes that dream, because I don't want to turn into that. It was terrible.
I don't want to become insufferable.
It was, and it just, I don't know.
Constant. It's all the time.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh. I mean, SpongeBob is great, but if you had to be around SpongeBob every day,
Exactly.
you would hate SpongeBob.
These guys also have they're kind of, I don't
And it
say
wasn't
one-
SpongeBob, by the way.
Yeah. I
Neither
don't
one
say
of
they're
them
like one-trick ponies, but they all kind of are one-trick pony-ish.
Yeah.
It's just like varying degrees of deep and gravelly and, But they can also, like, you notice Bumper, like, when he's talking, like, when he did The Wave, you notice, like, he doesn't want to use the on the wave, so he goes, The Wave. Like, he kind of goes up with
A little
it.
friendly.
Yeah,
Hey.
kind of. But his voice is naturally so deep that he's really struggling to bring. Oh,
right.
Bob, I just thought of a guy.
Okay. Peter Thomas. One more
No.
taste of Peter Thomas while you're thinking.
600 million square miles of randomly
Spider-Man,
segmented empty
Spider
rooms.
Harrison.
Oh, yeah, Spider.
Spider Harrison.
He's still alive. I know.
Yeah,
that's,
yeah,
I heard
yeah.
He does like one of the.
He's
or
on
what-
XM, I think.
Yeah, like
or
he
was.
does one of the like 90s channels or whatever.
Oh, does he now? Well, he used to do the top 40. I guess he kind of aged out of that. But
he's got this weird hollow.
Yeah, it's got a little.
It's like one of the coolest voices you ever hear because I don't even know. Let me see.
It's like a Cosby character.
Here we go. Through the years, Spider was JJ Jammer. I don't even.
JJ.
Oh, it's just.
Oh, it's. I hate those.
Yeah.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would. Like he would just talk, and you would be like, "What in the world?"
Here we go.
Countdown, the best DJ.
How you doing, North America? It's Monica.
No. Oh, the internet. Internet fail. Okay, one more try here. All right.
I got it.
No, wait. I found him.
Yep.
That's the one.
How did he become a DJ at top?
No.
No.
That was
I worked at She, which is an album rock station in Miami, and it was really boring. And I also worked, at the same time I worked at She on the weekends, I worked afternoons in Shoot.
Wow. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I heard that voice, and somebody I don't think gets enough credit because we see him do a lot of TV work and not so much. Mike Rowe's voice is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Mike Rowe is unbelievable. I love his podcast.
So good. It's such a distinctive voice. Mike Rowe is one of the modern, really good voices.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm finding him, Bob.
I found some old FLZ stuff.
Another nice day tomorrow. Sunshine high of 78.
Finally.
Right now it's 59 at 93.3 FLZ.
No? You never heard him?
I didn't. I heard back.
Yeah, he.
Hit Music Channel 93.3 FLZ just after 1 o'clock with Spider-Man and Fat Boy Slim on FLZ.
What I like the most about him is that most big voice guys are boring AF. I mean, it's true. They just because they've always had this. They've used their voice as a crutch. They've never had to really do anything because I've got a big deep voice, and you don't have to.
Also,
You don't
people
have to try.
put words into their mouth.
Yeah.
That's the other thing they've been reading, and now he gets.
I'm talking about even DJs, like just in
Oh,
general.
yeah.
If they've got a deep voice, odds are they're going to have a dull personality.
Yep.
Most of the time. Not everybody. But Spider was one of those guys with a gigantic voice who was all over the place. Like he was just being crazy and whatever. Let's see if well, it's going to be a deep voice only, boring. Come on, Spider.
93.3 FLZ, the hit music channel, with your Final Four tickets to this Saturday's semifinals. Evan, what are you doing, man? What you banging on there for? MJ and BJ have your chance to win them Friday morning.
my God.
Oh, 93.3
Did he just
FLZ,
say
this is
MJ and
Everlast.
BJ?
Yes.
Oh, wow. 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 I was back. Jeez.
Yeah.
What a flamethrower that was. And that. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, FLZ was
FLZ Tampa was
back in the day.
That's a different
That was
animal.
99.
God,
Yeah, it was a different animal. Yeah, especially when they were the power pig.
Power pig.
Power pig.
Who they would go up against? Q105.
Q105. Yeah, and they used to do the screw Q105 shirts.
It's just
They had a screw, and it was in the Q105 logo, and they would give them out. And then they had like the little no Q105 shirts and whatever.
It's so funny when I hear those old radio stories about the fights between
I
stations.
miss it so much. The problem is everybody's owned by the same people now.
Yeah. There was one.
Well, there's no one to fight with.
The last station I was at, they were telling me a story about
Nobody's
how
working.
back in the day that some of the two rock stations got so competitive with each other. There was a plan in place, and I forget who was going to do it to who, that they had literally procured cocaine with the idea that they were going to plant it in the rival station vehicle
And then call
and
cops?
then call the cops to get to get the legal quagmire, to get the what do you call it? Just the press out of it, the negative press and all that. And I was like, are y'all serious? I'm like, and then here's me going,
waste that cocaine?
Okay. I turn into, I'm like, why don't we all just get along? I'm like, this business is hard enough.
Oh my God. No, that was
I know, it
back
was-
in the day, it
oh.
was our job to hate the people that were on other radio stations.
Oh, I had to go to a festival that also was where it was a meetup for all the radio people. And the two guys from my rival station, they show up with their beards and their hoodies. And I'm just there like little Susie Sunshine, like, it's fine. I play Avenged Sevenfold. How are you? And I just went up to him and I'm like, hey, look, this isn't my fight. I'm just saying, because they're just glaring at me in the corner. I'm like, I don't even know who you guys are, but we know the same people. And there's 6 of us. Like, just, you can hate the morning guys. I don't care. But like, I'm just over here. Please don't hit me. I'm a girl. Like, you know.
It was weird, the glaring and
It
all that. We
is.
would be
It's
at
so
events,
weird.
and it was like, you'd have their booth or their tent was right by our booth and our tent. And so you had to be more obnoxious and more loud
you had
and
to
more
fight
whatever.
for positions.
It's if you ever wonder, if you watch Anchorman and you see when the TV stations and they do have the alley fight.
Yep,
that's where that comes from.
Yeah,
that's a basically that started at radio, and I guess it goes different to TV. I've never
Maybe in that era at least.
Yeah, because that was kind of based in the 70s.
Yeah, it was so great. I mean, that really, the way that everybody hated each other in Anchorman is exactly the way radio used to be.
In the last 10 years. Like, it's not even that old. So a guy I worked for, our rival station, they got the live interview with the band that was going to be performing at the fair later. And we didn't. And so he's calling up the label guy going, we're pulling all your music.
Oh, I know.
Right. And then, but I'm the one that does music. And because you just deleted it out of the system, you've left me with, like, you've just made my job harder, bro. And I'm like, what? Really? Because of 5 minutes on the nobody,
that no one cares.
No one cares.
No
one
one.
cares. And I just me going, hi, voice of reason over here. Could you not screw up my programs? But yeah, that's the point. That even it's still that there's still people that feel that way, that still have the chips on their shoulder or whatever.
I still
but-
feel that way. If you're
Yeah, but we're
against
not
us on the
actively
radio,
sabotaging people. That's
We're not?
Oh, I don't know what y'all are up to. I'm over here playing Peacemaker. It's fine.
I absolutely have, and I absolutely will. Just saying.
Y'all, I'm the one.
There's
I'm just
nothing out of the realm of possibilities. And
I'm waiting for y'all to come home from battle. I'll have the apple pie and some
one day when we wrap up this radio ride, we're gonna share
Betsy
some.
Ross sewing a flag.
She'll have Rice
It's
Krispie
fine.
treats waiting.
Welcome back, boys. How was the fight?
Would you like some pie?
I'm Penelope unweaving, like, no, my suitors will stay at bay until Big D and Bubba come back.
It's gonna be the best podcast.
Oh wait, we missed. I'm sorry, one more. I'm sorry, one more.
Okay.
And shame on us for not saying it sooner. Our friend, who is the voice of the CMAs for.
Oh yes.
Oh, well then, we didn't go down every list. I mean, Williard, you want to go with John here?
Yeah.
I'll throw out some John.
Yeah. I'll just go say it's just.
And
he's one of the
also,
greats.
I would like to.
To me, he's one of the greats.
Yeah,
He
well,
is.
for sure. I mean, John was the voice of an entire generation, and still is really.
He spent 2 hours talking with me about voice work. Didn't have to. I just reached out to him on Facebook, and he loves you guys. I'm just like, oh, that's right, you're with Big D and Bubba. He's like, call me. Let's talk.
Call him
So
every so
nice.
often, check
So
in. I
nice.
haven't
So
talked with
good.
him in a
So
while,
nice.
but
So
yeah, he's one of those people that just is so accessible and all that. And here's John doing the Lord's Prayer.
Oh.
Trying to.
Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
I was having breakfast with him one time in a hotel lobby and at a little restaurant there, and he at the time he was doing the promos for CNN, like tonight on Larry King talks with blah 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 such and such, and the waitress comes up and the TV is kind of on a little bit, and he's talking on TV and also ordering at the same time. And I was like, do you know that's the same guy talking on the thing? That's him right here. You're about to give an omelet to. And she was like, I don't care.
Didn't he do WCW as well?
Like The Searchers and Kelly's Heroes.
TCM?
TCM's greatest classic
Best.
films collection. Perfect for Father's Day at a great price. Available at TCM.com.
He does a lot of country stations. He does our Baton Rouge, the Tiger.
So good.
He's
Yeah,
on a bunch. He's on a bunch of our
Williard's
stations.
fantastic.
Yes.
Give big shout out to Dave.
Yeah, that's right, David Angel.
David Angel, who has been the voice of our show forever. And here's a little great backstory. I met Dave when I moved to Guam. He was the afternoon guy, and he was the coolest dude ever because I show up to Guam. I'm like this 18-year-old kid, and here he is. He's like, 35, 40 years old. He works in the afternoon, but every morning he would go surfing, or he would take his bicycle and go all the way around the island in a day. Still gets on his bike and rides 100 miles on a Saturday, just for fun. I'm like, dude, you're legendary status, and he has a big giant voice.
You know what I like about his voice is that it's approachable. It's kind of goofy at times, but and no one really sounds like him.
Yeah.
And it matches the show, and we could also clear him in all the markets.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
12 times regional qualifiers. It's the Big D and Bubba Show.
That's the best. 12-time regional qualifiers. That's the best. Big D and Bubba, state champs.
Dude, we have a whole series of those, and they're just so great. I love it.
More American than an eagle perched on Chuck Norris's shoulder. It's Big D and Bubba. Congratulations to Big D and Bubba, Employees of the Year.
So great.
Thank you, David. All right, are we about done? That was fun. That was really, really, really fun.
That was a just for us.
That was totally just for us and all the other radio people.
Jelly roll.
And
that's how it all started. You took his full circle.
Yeah. Stick around after the closing jingle. For those of you, again, who are listening on a podcast app, you're going to get the Keith Urban and Parker McCollum interviews.
This was the podcast, but now it's over. But that's okay, because you can listen to the regular show on the radio every day.
Jelly roll.